Hey everybody, this is Tanner Invests here, and today we have a super exciting video because there are some rumors spreading. There's a rumor spreading in the market for the ETH DAT treasuries that we're going to get into today. As you see in the thumbnail, BMNR is rumored to be buying ETHZilla. Now, like I said, this is completely a rumor and it's based just off an 8K that got released. But we're going to hop into that. We're also going to be hopping into a bit more things today. So if you're big into ETH digital asset treasuries, you need to know some of the potential risks. And one of the risks is that that there are other blockchains out there, right? So we know that there are companies potentially creating their own layer one technology, but there's also already existing layer ones that are doing a pretty good job. And so Tom Lee and a lot of the ETH bulls out there say that ETH is the most decentralized. It's the most trusted. It has had zero downtime in the history of its protocol being released. So why not build on ETH? And that's the reason behind Wall Street wanting to build on ETH. But we have seen quite a bit of companies that are preferring Solana as of recently. So we have not only bullish, we talked about the IPO that happened, BLSH. They're primarily using the Solana blockchain, but also we have a lot of Solana treasuries coming out that are creating their own DATs. And I'm actually going to be following these DATs as well. I've said time and time again that I think it makes a lot of sense to diversify your portfolio just like you would with stocks. If you believe in cryptocurrency technology, you believe in blockchain technology, then why not hedge your bet, maybe buy more than one cryptocurrency so that all your money is not in just Bitcoin, not all your money is in just Ethereum, but you have money in potentially Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, others as well. So just in case something happens or maybe one ends up becoming the winner, you're not left in the dust. That being said, I'd compare this kind of to like from a payment perspective as like Visa and MasterCard and Discover and Amex, right? So those are the main four providers of credit card processing today. And that's really what's being disrupted with blockchain technology. So we have seen time and time again throughout the years that both Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and Amex, all four of them have had really great stock performance. There's been more than one winner. And I think the same will happen with blockchain technology. I think there will be more than one winner in that space too. But let's go ahead and hop into this video, guys. Got a lot of exciting stuff to get into. So first, let's start with the Digital Asset Treasury MNAV update provided by yours truly, Risk on Bobby. That guy, it's not me, Ricky on X. Definitely recommend giving him a follow. He puts a lot of work every single day to give an update on the MNAVs. So right now, I haven't found someone similar doing this for Solana. I have found a website, which I'll share in a bit, where you can kind of get a grasp of the MNAVs. Because we all know, I've talked about it time and time again, and we've done math equations on it throughout my videos, that MNAV is extremely important. It is basically the price at what the stock is trading in comparison to the amount of holding that they have of their underlying asset. In this case, we're talking about Ethereum with these digital asset treasuries here. So BMNR on this first column, you can see here, we are now trading at a 1.6x MNAV, which is insane, guys. Really, really, really good performance over the past couple weeks for BMNR specifically. I've noticed a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of very popular people on X, and some literal analysts out there that have started talking about Ethereum and BMNR specifically. And a lot of the narrative right now is that BMNR is clearly the winner. As of now, they are the number one largest ETH DAT, but also they are demanding a much higher premium than you can tell than anyone else in the market right now. SBET being the number two holder, we're still trading under a 1.0 MNAV for SBET, while BMNR is at a 1.6. Now, keep in mind, this 1.6 is including some of their other tokens and investments in this column here, which Ricky has shown Risk on Bobby on X. That number there is actually their investment in their moonshot, which was WLD, Dan Ives treasury for Worldcoin token, which is ticker symbol ORBS. So since they have an investment in that company, that is what that is showing there. Now that is going into their MNAV equation. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, which I think is really, really exciting, is I think for the first time ever post pipe and actually once the stock is settled down a little bit, is right now we're at a 1.6 MNAV. MicroStrategy is at a 1.54 MNAV. So BMNR has officially surpassed the MNAV and is demanding a higher premium than Strategy, which is incredible. I mean, I know there's a lot of memes out there, which I'll show one here, where it shows Tom Lee and Michael Saylor kind of in the same room, and Tom Lee on each of the photos is just a little bit more happy and cheery. It's pretty funny. But that being said, I'm really excited because Tom Lee has kind of talked about this. You know, if Bitcoin and Strategy is demanding a 1.6, 1.7 MNAV, then why shouldn't another treasury company holding ETH, which provides a yield generating asset where you can stake it and earn interest on your holdings, why would that not demand a higher premium than an asset like Bitcoin, which is just ultimately a store of value or a digital gold? So Tom Lee, you know, with the amount of Ethereum that they're currently holding, they are getting a lot back from staking. So that's exciting. Now let's go ahead and hop into some more news about BMNR. Really exciting. This is all a rumor. So keep in mind, none of this at all has been announced. It's just all rumors. But ETHZilla filed for an 8K with their CEO resigning, and then McAndrew Rudisill named the long-term CEO with a golden parachute clause. So what a golden parachute clause typically means is that it is a signal that it's commonly a signal used for approving mergers, acquisitions, or major transactions, because a golden parachute is a clause that basically states 2% of the market cap / enterprise value will be paid out upon change of control. So when change of control means when you merge your business with another company or you sell your business. So it's often a precursor for mergers and acquisitions. So that being said, the big reason why BMNR is the speculative company that might be purchasing is, well, one, we know that Tom Lee has talked about this before, where there are going to be times where there are other ETH DATs that are trading under MNAV, and it might make sense for both parties to just merge. That way, the company that like BMNR in this case, they have a lot of cash, they can afford to just take over ETHZilla without causing some sort of shock. So they can get a lot of Ethereum all at once without causing some sort of supply shock to the environment, which is awesome. And then not only that, there's another big reason. BMNR and ETHZilla both have a shared investor, Peter Thiel, which a lot of people know. He's famously, you know, the previous CEOs of PayPal and Palantir. And so Peter Thiel is a shared investor for both BMNR and ETHZilla, has a large stake in both companies, meaning that he could kind of be the glue that's holding these two together, potentially causing for a major transaction. Now, I'm really excited about this because BMNR, they're already the largest ETH holder, but this is going to be a very interesting, if this happens, this would be a very, very interesting to take a deeper look into. Like, what are they going to buy the company for? Are they going to potentially buy them for 1.0 MNAV? Are they going to pay a little bit more? Because remember, they are going to be generating yield based on the underlying asset. So if they're buying all of them at a 1.0, that doesn't seem like the most fair deal. But when you have something like a parachute clause, that makes it a little bit more enticing for the sale to actually happen. And so ETHZilla's discount MNAV is an easy target for an all stock deal at 0.9 to 1.0 MNAV. That's what it looks like some sort of large language model is saying, that they think it will trade for a 0.9 to 1.0, somewhere under that 1.0 NAV. So really, really interesting. There are obviously other suitors as well. We have other ETH DATs like BTBT, Bit Digital, BTCS. We have the ETH Machine. Some of these, like these two, BTBT and BTCS, they're actually trading significantly under their MNAV. So those are targets as well as ticker GAME, trading significantly under their MNAV. They could be a suitor as well. So really cool stuff going on, and I'm really excited to follow along. Now let's go ahead and get into just the standard news like we do in most of our videos. So this point forward, we're going to be talking about just BMNR. We're going to get into SBET. We're going to get into WLD, Worldcoin, which is Dan Ives. And then we're going to be looking into Solana treasuries. So I'll have timestamps below. So BMNR, their latest update was obviously they have a lot of cash still. They bought more ETH. So they now have over $10 billion in ETH, which makes them the number 2 largest treasury in the whole world, the largest ETH treasury. They just reiterated that they have still their holdings of Bitcoin. They have their 8co stake, which is ticker symbol orbs with knives, but then now they're over 2.1 million ETH, and that equates to a $10.771 billion position. Other than that, I mean, ultimately, nothing's new. I mean, they're still going toward that alchemy of 5% that we have been talking about for a long time, and they are. I wanted to mention too, this is something super important, is that the liquidity, guys, the liquidity behind BMNR lately has been insane. Like I mentioned, a lot of people on X, a lot of YouTubers, they're starting to get into BMNR. Guys, you and me, all my subscribers, we've been in this play for like 2 months now. So since day one. So love it. I'm really excited that a lot of the people I've been following for years are now talking about this stock. So that being said, down here at the bottom, you can see on Ricky's sheet here, he actually has the volume, and down here you can see that that BMNR is trading an incredible amount of daily volume in comparison to every single digital asset treasury. They're actually trading like 90% or higher this entire week, where 90% of the volumes and liquidity is going through BMNR in comparison to all the other ETH DATs. So liquidity is huge. I think, a lot of people ask me, because they know I do have a position in SBET. I also have a position in BMNR. Like, what are you going to do? Well, right now, I think the market has found a winner. BMNR is the winner as of now. That being said, I don't know if that will be the case for the long run. Not saying that BMNR isn't going to be the winner. I think they probably likely will. But that being said, they're trading at a 1.6 MNAV. How high can that go? I don't know. I could see them potentially like stalling around this MNAV. Not saying the stock price won't go up. Obviously it will, because they're accretive to shareholders when they dilute and they buy more ETH. But I do want to mention that SBET is trading under a 1.0, which I still think is undervalued given their entire ecosystem, the team running that project. They're incredible. So I could see them, even though maybe they're not going to get as high as BMNR on a multiple perspective, I could see them going above 1.0. And I think I listened to an interview yesterday with Joe Chalem and Joseph Lubin, and they basically said the same thing. They don't think their stock will trade under a 1.0 for that long. And so let's hope. I'm going to keep my position. I own both companies. Why not? So that being said, let's go ahead and get into just the price of Bitcoin over the past week. We are about even, 115.5 thousand over the month. Flat. Bitcoin's been trading pretty flat. Now, Solana is an interesting story. We're going to jump into some Solana news here. So Solana over the past 3 months has almost performed as well as Ethereum has, without nearly the narrative behind the vocal actors out there like Tom Lee and Joseph Lubin. But Solana still is up 70%, because I think people realize that when the blockchain with the Genius Act coming out, we have the Clarity Act that will likely get passed by the end of the year, which if you guys want to subscribe, I do plan on releasing a video specifically on the Clarity Act within the next few days. So that'll be exciting. But I think that the market is understanding that there's going to be more than one winner in this, and that Solana has a really fast chain. A lot of people are building on Solana as well. So why not, potentially have some Solana in your portfolio as well, which I do, and I plan to add more. Now, on the Solana side, there is this website, strategicsolanareserve.org, very similar to the Strategic ETH Reserve website, where you can take a look at all of the largest Solana reserve treasuries here. We have Forward Industries and Sharps Technology as the 1 and 2 right now. Forward Industries is very interesting because just this month they announced that they acquired $1.65 billion. That's a huge pipe. 1.65 billion. They did it in 2 weeks, and they said they were oversubscribed on that pipe, where they had a lot more people wanting to spend than they were willing to take on. So crazy. That's awesome. Here's their stock price. Very similar. We've seen this happen time and time again, guys, where when that pipe gets announced, people get hyped. It's basically a casino. You're hoping that you can buy in low and then sell high, and then everyone starts selling. So congrats to anybody that got into this one. I missed this one because I haven't been following Sol's treasuries. that much, but I did get into, you guys saw my last video or a couple videos ago, I did get into Dan Ives and made a lot of money off that. But I did sell because we've been doing this for a while because we know what happens. We've been studying that over these pipes, they get excited, they trade way overvalued, and then there's a big sell-off. The pipe potentially gets unlocked. Then the pipe investors sell off because they understand it's overvalued. So we are going to wait on this play because it's still trading somewhere between, like, I've seen reports of a 1.85 MNAV. I've seen some reports that it's trading over a 2.0 MNAV. So let's just keep that in mind. I'm not going to touch this thing until it trades down. Now, I wanted to play a video real quick. Michael Novogratz from GLXY Digital. So GLXY Digital, you guys probably understand that GLXY is a major player in all of these treasury companies. So they were a pipe investor for BMNR, SBET, and Ford. So they are a big player. They have a lot of shares in multiple different treasuries, but also they have over $3 billion in staking assets held on their balance sheet and over $7 billion in crypto held on their balance sheet right now. And so I've been looking into this company a lot because not only are they a business with a ton of assets on their balance sheet, they also have an investment business. They have a crypto markets business with providing liquidity, credit, derivatives. This is a tweet that I posted because I've been doing a lot of research where this company is not only a crypto play, they're also a play in data centers with AI and high performance compute, where we see right here, this is actually their Helios campus in Texas that has currently approved 800 megawatts of electricity and potentially the future expansion of 2.7. And I actually got corrected because on their latest quarter, they announced that it's actually 3.5 gigawatts of future expansion. So this is a mega campus, and they already have a contract with CoreWeave to lease out the space once it's finished. And so very exciting play on both the crypto and AI HPC market. I'm definitely going to be buying some shares of this company. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm going to be doing. And I think they have a huge runway. Let's just go ahead and look at GLXY for a moment. So GLXY IPO'd earlier this year, it looks like in May, and their stock has gone down, gone up, gone down, and now it is trading at all-time highs at around $33 a share. But people have run the math on this. Just their assets alone on the balance sheet make up a lot of this amount. But then also, I don't think it's being baked in right now the potential upside for their AI data center business. So very exciting. Anyway, didn't want to get too much into the weeds there. I posted one X post on this, and it did pretty well. Now, one thing I wanted to hop into is that GLXY, ticker GLXY, has actually tokenized their stock. So it's not a wrapper, it's not synthetic, it's actually an issuer-backed tokenization. So what that means is that GLXY has actually issued tokens themselves to actually sell and potentially raise money through this tokenization, where it's not a wrapper, it's not like WGLXY. This is a issuer-backed tokenization. And one thing to note is it's actually built on the Solana network. Now, I wanted to play this because I don't want to say they picked sides, one or the other. And he actually talks about in this podcast here briefly about the difference between Solana and Ethereum. So let's talk about this.
I mean, frankly, I think they're both phenomenal chains. Like, when I look from a business perspective on like where do you issue tokenized equities, there's like only two chains that matter for now, right? It's like Solana and Ethereum. It's like saying like, they're apples and oranges in a lot of ways. Like, it's not like, oh, like, we picked Solana, we picked Ethereum. It's like, no, they are in some order, absolutely number one and number two, and there's a big drop off before you get to something else, right? And they're actually quite different. And so like, we're going to be working with both.
It's exciting.
All right, so they're like apples and oranges. They're both number one and number two. There's a big drop off after number three, and that they're going to be working with both. I think that's great to hear. I did want to show you guys real quick. Let's just look at Visa and MasterCard because this is the best analogy I can come up with for this. But over the last 5 years, over the maximum performance lifetime of Visa, we've obviously seen they've had somewhat of a triopoly in the market, or whatever a quadropoly. I don't know if that would makes sense. But we can look at MasterCard as well. MasterCard throughout its lifetime has done very well stock performance. We can look at Amex. American Express. I always forget that their ticker is AXP. I think they should see about changing that. Their performance has been well. We are excited to go into Sharplink now, guys. So I'm excited to talk about Sharplink a little bit more. We have Sharplink acquiring 1 million more of their shares. That is their ongoing buyback program. So what this is stating again is that they have not released or not raised any money through the ATM. They understand that their MNAV's under 1.0 right now. If they were to raise through the ATM at under a 1.0, then that would be dilutive to shareholders, and they're not going to be doing that. So they know that since they're under 1.0, the best thing to do with their cash is to just buy back shares, which directly benefits shareholders. There's no question about that. Any company out there that buys back shares, that is accretive. So that is what they're doing. They have mentioned in a couple podcasts as of lately that there are some convertible options that they can do with convertible notes because there's such volatility within the underlying that there's a large demand for that. So keep that in mind too. I think that's probably what's coming next, because right now they're in a position where they're basically sitting and waiting. They're like, let's wait for our MNAV to go up. We can't really do anything else. And that's also, I think, why BMNR is just getting more and more and more of a premium, because people are realizing, I think, that they're the leading horse, selling SBET, buying BMNR. We see it in the liquidity. We see it in the premium. Right now, BMNR sounds to me like is the clear winner here, at least for now. Now, that being said, I still believe in their ecosystem. I'm still going to keep my shares. You can see I'm down 23%. My BMNR position, I'm actually up like 33 or 34%. And right now I have like an equal weight position in both companies. That being said, over the past week, we're only up 2.2%. Now, the only last news I wanted to get into before going is that Orbs, ticker symbol ORBS, this is Dan Ives. He's the chairman of this company, similar to Tom Lee for BMNR. And they actually rang the opening bell for the NASDAQ exchange earlier in the week. And there's a lot of images that came out of this. Tom Lee was there. But their goal, they announced it, is the power of 8%. So their treasury is looking to acquire and hold 800 million WLD tokens, or 8% of the total supply. Now, I wanted to bring that up because this means that this treasury will be likely a lot smaller than some other treasuries we've seen. Because right now, Worldcoin is only at a $1.48 price. So let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. If you're looking to have 800 million of the supply times 1.48, you would only need $1.18 billion, which I think they had 275 million in their round of funding. So if we do 1.184, 75 million divided by 1.184, and we can see here that they are roughly about 23% of the way toward their goal of that 800,000 WLT tokens, or 8% of the total supply. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one, guys. I still just think it's like a little early, to be honest, for me to like personally want to invest in this project. The tokenization, the token itself, I just don't know how valuable this network will end up being in the long run. It sounds to me like people will likely have WLD when they sign up for the World app, but then there's a wallet within the World app, so you might just immediately want to like, it'll be used almost as like a stable coin in a way, or like you would transfer WLD out into other tokens almost immediately if you wanted to. So I don't know. There's still a lot of questions, and I haven't really done enough research yet on this project, but I know I've gotten a lot of questions about it. So that being said, guys, I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Right now, we're like over 3.2 thousand subscribers, and I'm going to keep continuing doing projects on the cryptocurrency digital asset treasury companies. But also, I do want to start doing some videos on some stocks like GLXY Digital, GLXY. Been looking into that one a lot. I've done some research already on Bullish, the cryptocurrency institutional exchange. So it's ticker BLSH. So if you guys are interested at all in anything related to that kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.